Lego is now over 90 years old, and in that time there have been some absolutely amazing sets, and I feel like over the last year I've really gone down the rabbit hole of buying a lot of retired sets. So today I wanted to talk to you guys about my top 20 retired sets that Lego have ever made. And I know that this list keeps growing and changing every single year as more and more stuff gets retired, but I feel like there are some really good sort of like older, mid-2000s, like early 2010 sets that really stand out to me. So yes, there is bias in this, but at the end of the day, this is my list and my video, and if you want to make one, go ahead, that's the fun of it. Or consider subscribing and let me know in the comments down below as well, that's an option too. So starting off at number 20, I have the Black Pearl. Now the Black Pearl is one of my most wanted retired sets, but that thing is just far too expensive that at this point I've given up on that dream because you know what, I'm happy with just like my singular Davy Jones minifigure. Look how cute he is with his little tentacle beard. Now Davy Jones is one of the reasons why I wanted the Black Pearl a lot as a kid, but also it's the Black Pearl. It's like the main ship from Pirates of the Caribbean, and they never did a Flying Dutchman. But that being said, I've heard a lot of things about the Black Pearl not actually being the greatest set ever, being very basic and just really, you know, not being that great. But granted, it's the Black Pearl, and that's honestly why I want it. I've been lucky enough to see the set in person a couple of times, and it is absolutely gorgeous. And I mean, it really is a product of its time period. I feel like today, Lego would just absolutely knock it out of the park if they did a Black Pearl, but I don't think they're gonna do that. So yeah, Black Pearl, one of my absolute favorites. At number 19, we have Flos Cafe, which like the Black Pearl, the build itself is not that great. The actual build for Flos is really basic and really hollow, though I do really love like the gas station pump stations, and also the main highlight of course from the set is the Cars characters. One of my goals in my collection was to have every single car from the original Cars movie that Lego had made, besides Duplo, and getting Flos Cafe was a major step in achieving this. I always wanted Sally as a kid, so it was really great to have her in my collection, but honestly, Fillmore has to be the absolute best car out of that set. But overall, Flos Cafe had so much on offer in terms of that and creates a really cute little display piece. I absolutely love it and is really, I guess besides Mac, one of the only like original Cars movie Radiator Springs, like that type of era type car sets, and for that I am very grateful. Number 18 is currently one of my, I guess, my most wanted sets again out of this list, but just like the Black Pearl is very expensive, and that is the Ewok Village. This set is gorgeous, and I remember seeing it like years before I even thought about properly buying Lego Star Wars, and I absolutely loved it. Overall, this set is gorgeous, but I also look at it now and I'm like, ooh, that entire thing would just snap apart in my hands and crumble in front of me if I built it, which is a scary thought. So part of me is like, ooh, I could part it out. But really, I think one of the reasons I love the Ewok Village so much is just because it's the Ewok Village. I love Ewoks. I don't have a lot of Endor stuff, and just having that giant display within the treetops looks really cool and is super sick. Plus, it's more of like a master builder set, which is really my style when it comes to Star Wars UCS sets. At number 17 is the Burrow. Not that Burrow, even though that build is technically better. The original Burrow. The original Burrow is a set that I built and rebuilt and like broke down so many times as a kid. I had so much fun playing with this set, and the build for the time especially was really good. It is nowhere close in terms of design and accuracy to the newer version, but the minifigure selection blows that new one out of the park. The minifigures were so highly detailed and so cool. It had a massive, really neat selection. You even had the little fields, which really was not represented well on that new one at all. And overall, I feel like it was a fantastic set. It had everything I ever wanted and is one of, I think, the best Lego Harry Potter sets that has ever been made. Or at least that's my current opinion, because I don't actually know if I included it in like my old top 20 list or not. So bear that in mind. And number 16 is the only modular on this list, and that is the Brick Bank. Now, I always like knew about the modulars, but I didn't exactly know what they were when they came out. But the Emporium is like the earliest memory I have of a modular building, and I wish that I knew about the Brick Bank sooner, because this set is gorgeous. Mostly, I think, because of the fact that I love that it's a very basic, prominent building. It can be adapted into like a massive superhero bank break-in or whatever. And also the building itself, I actually think is really adorable. There aren't many corner buildings that I think really have that same charm that personally I like about the Brick Bank. It's a set that I debated parting out, but those window pieces are just so expensive that I don't ever think I will. It's one of those, again, that I sort of look back from afar. I love, I really want, but probably won't end up buying anytime soon in my collection, if at all. But man, is it gorgeous. And it's one of the reasons too that I think I'll continue to buy modulars just in case, because like that one now is ridiculously expensive purely because of the reference in the police station. So that's Lego collecting for you. One of the earliest sets on this list is the Chamber of Secrets. Now this set I think was really ahead of its time. I've never had the pleasure of actually like sitting and playing with it in front of me, but I have seen it in person, and again, it is amazing. There were some amazing minifigures, some amazing molds, the basilisk being like one whole piece with like glow-in-the-dark knives for fangs. The whole thing is just incredible. Not to mention as well the fact that it could connect with a bunch of other Hogwarts buildings. Just overall, I think this set was fantastic, and again, way better than any other remake or like reiteration that Lego has done so far. Granted, they could knock it out of the park, but this original one has like such a special place in like my memories and just like, I guess, my heart in general. I really like it. Number 14 is the Ultimate Bridge Battle from Lego Spider-Man, and this set again was one that I just saw as a kid and I absolutely loved it. The whole bridge design was really cool, because beforehand I feel like all we'd gotten was like a really small facade of the Daily Bugle and a ton of mechs and vehicles and drones and pilots and helicopters, and overall everything honestly felt like a little bit of a mess. Whereas this to me was just like classic New York battle, and I loved that. All of the play features, the tiny little taxi, the minifigure selection as well, looking back, is amazing. And as soon as the Daily Bugle came out, I knew that that would be the perfect complement to that set, so I ran out and bought it, and I absolutely love this thing. I had it displayed on my shelf for a really long time, but I did end up rotating it out so I could have some other things on display. But it is one of my favorite, if not my favorite, Lego Marvel set, I guess, besides the Daily Bugle, because I absolutely love that set. But this bridge is so good. Now, for those of you who have watched my videos before or watched a live stream or followed me for a while, you would know that I am a massive Disney fanatic. So when Lego Toy Story released featuring the set Woody's Roundup, which contained my favorite character Jessie, I just had to have it. In fact, to this day, I still have my Toy Story collection Jessie doll, and I absolutely love her. So with this amount of dedication to the character, it was no surprise that I was gonna buy the one set that was available at the time that had Jessie in it. And I love that set to pieces. You got Woody, you got Bullseye, you got the Prospector, you got Jessie. It was the complete package, and it was like so cute and just gave me very immense like Toy Story 2 vibes, and just like the whole Woody's Roundup storyline. I was obsessed. Toy Story 2 is one of my favorite movies ever. I loved it, and just having that in person and being able to play with it meant so much to me, and still does mean so much to me. I have like perfectly bagged it up to keep it safe and rebuild it eventually when I like want to put it on display again or have a lot more space. I love this thing so much. The printed tiles, the minifigures, just everything about it. And honestly, I don't even know if it's that like valuable these days, but it is one of my favorite sets of all time. I mean, Lego Toy Story in general just knocked it out of the park. Every single set pretty much was a banger. I love it. I kept that Jessie's box for a long time as well, and I'm pretty sure eventually I got rid of it, and I have major regrets about that now. At number 12 is a recent addition to my retired sets collection and just Lego Star Wars collection in general, and that is the 2012 Jabbas Palace, which currently sits down here on my shelf. I just realized you can't even see it. I do not like that Boba's Palace that much at all. I feel like the build is just like very disjointed, it's very short, it's very stumpy, and just the original Jabbas Palace was so much better. Well, not the original, like this one that I'm talking about right now was so much better. You actually had the roof, which granted, you know, there was controversy about that Lego was probably trying to avoid, but it's accurate to the movie, so I appreciate that. Jabba's mold as well is incredible. The Bosch helmet mold, the Gamorrean guard mold, which is reused to this day, and just overall, I feel like this set was such a solid set considering it was like 2012. We didn't even have updated Chewbacca at this point, and this set was still a smash. At number 11, we have Wally. I was so desperate for this set when it came out, but it was just too expensive for me at the time, who was just like very much in my dark ages, very conservative about what money I was spending on Lego, and just openly, you know, just scared to go and purchase anything in general, because at that point, I cared what people thought about me because I was in high school, whereas now I couldn't care less, and I went out and spent far too much money on this stupid, I shouldn't call it stupid, I love Wally, on this adorable little set. Which now, I mean, you could spend less money and buy the brick head and get Eve included as well, but like the Wally's idea set is just next level. He is so cute, so well detailed, and I do need to fix his neck as well because I didn't get the fixed version, but he is so incredible. And it's one of those sets that like I feel like kind of you forget about, and then you're reminded he exists and you're like, wow, he is amazing, I should get him. And then you realize he's super expensive because of the production issues with the neck, and it's a really sad time, but he is such a great idea set. One of my favorite idea sets again. I love Wally. Let's talk about Indiana Jones, since, you know, the themes returned and the Temple Escape was one of my favorite sets again as a kid. It wasn't one of my favorite sets though that I guess I wanted to keep it, because apparently in 2014-ish, I decided to sell it for $80. And you know, I do regret that now because of the fact that it was valuable, but at the time it did make sense. And I still feel like it is a good decision for me to let go of it. It's an amazing set, but I just feel like on my shelf and as a part of my collection, even if I didn't sell it, it probably wouldn't match that well today, and I would really just hold on to it as a fact that, you know, it's the original and it's valuable. So I mean, I kind of regret that decision, but I also don't. But man, I would love to be able to just like play with that set again and all of its cool play features and the boulder, and I am so excited about the new remade version of this set, and that is something I really want to try and get my hands on this year. Probably not anytime soon, but that set looks incredible. When I first got it too, I had never seen Raiders of the Lost Ark, so it was really exciting for me to go and sit down to watch that movie and have that be like this really awesome, iconic opening scene and be like, wow, that's my Lego set right there. Honestly, that Lego set is the reason I watched Indiana Jones for the first time, and a similar thing happened with Lord of the Rings, but we'll get to that. Because at number 9, we have Helm's Deep, and I don't have this set. I hated it at first because, like, I don't know, I just didn't care about the Two Towers all that much, or the Battle of Helm's Deep, but Helm's Deep as a set is incredible. It's one of those just like really, really iconic Lord of the Rings sets, really good for part out value and all that, amazing minifigures as well, but I don't ever think I would go out and get it these days. I just think it's a really, 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 really good Lego set at the end of the day, which essentially is why I made this list in the first place. It's more about the sets as well as things I like, rather than just like things I like and would buy. Again though, the entire Lord of the Rings line is the reason that I ended up watching the movies and The Hobbit in general, so thank you Lego for making me a more cultured human being. I've got to get this next set out just because of how excited it makes me, but we're going to talk about the Lego Ghost, which is up next on our list. Now, ignore the Phantom, which is on this back section, which wasn't included, but the Ghost is such a beautiful set. I'm watching Rebels and I'm seeing the Ghost fly around, and I just had this overwhelming feeling come over me saying, you need to buy that set. Now, would that feeling have been as strong if Lego wasn't my job? Probably not, probably wouldn't own it otherwise, but I guess I just had a lot of excuses that I could use in order to buy this set, and it's gorgeous. I love Rebels, I love the Rebels crew, and I am very nervous for the end of the season as I slowly approach it. But this set is awesome. I hope it gets remade, and if it does, I'm probably going to be stupid enough to buy it again, despite how much I spent on this set in the first place. So often I would reflect on how much this set cost and like ask myself if it was actually worth it, and then like I keep watching Rebels and I keep reminding myself that actually yeah, this was a good decision, because if I didn't, I probably still would have wanted it, and then, you know, it would cost more the closer we get, maybe, I guess, until the Ahsoka show, unless they may remake it and the price drops. But I'm not a Lego investor. I just buy things because I like them, so you know. But this set is so cool. I don't recommend spending your money on it though, but I really, really like it. It's one of my favorite retired sets and one of my favorite Star Wars sets I owned. I love this thing, and it had to be shown off again to make me feel like I can justify it, to be honest with you. Number 7 is another one I can show off for this list, and that's the Mystery Machine. I was so close to not even going and purchasing this set because I just didn't want to be seen carrying a bag of Lego, but this set I think was like 40, 50 Australian dollars, and I just love Scooby-Doo and the live action movies so much that, you know, just buying that set, I had to. It's so cute, it's so small that I really just could not pass this set up. And I'm very glad I did, because it is so expensive now, and it is a really, really, really well done model. It is perfectly sized, it is beautiful, it can open up, you can take the roof off, you can fit 3 people in the front if they don't sit down, and that is why I love this thing so much. It is perfect in every single way that I want it to. I love this thing so much, and it has always like sat on my displays and on my shelf ever since I got it. It is that beloved in my collection and has been dusted many times, one of which should happen again. Can't quite get this next set out, but going back to retired Lego Harry Potter, the Dumbstrung Ship is a set that absolutely blew me away when I finally got a hold of it. I mean, just seeing it as well, it was one of those sets that I was like, this is really, really cool and really well made, especially for 2005 and using preliminary images and concept art. Like, that is insane to me. This set as well holds up to this day. Granted, there are a lot of big pieces and probably a lot of gaps that maybe wouldn't exist if it was remade today, but I absolutely love this set. The only complaint I really had about it is like the fact that it came with 2 minifigures. Otherwise, this is an incredible set, and I've really just got to think about especially the year that it was made. It is one of the older sets on this list, and it holds up so well. Starting off the top 5 though, we have a very, very beloved Lego Star Wars set, and that is the 2013 Gunship. I loved this set so much that I went through the effort and hassle of parting an entire thing together with brand new white parts so that the entire thing was nice and clean and not yellowed. And unlike the UCS version, minifigure scale, which is something personally I absolutely love and adore and really seek for in my sets, so having this version of the Gunship was so much better. Just like the Ghost, I would love to see it be remade. It has a carry handle, it has flick fire missiles and a moving thing at the back and moving doors, and just, I love this thing. I'm really glad I went through that effort because it's one of my favorite things on my shelf. I love looking at it. I just love the ship design in general within the Star Wars universe. Everything about this set makes me really happy. However, I haven't completed all of the minifigures from this set because that clone captain is so expensive, and I also bought the Clone Wars clones and not the movie clones, but that's okay because otherwise the build itself is beautiful. If we turn our attention to the left-hand side of the room for a second, we can see the next one on this list, which is the Disney Castle. That's a new addition to the list because it only just retired, but it certainly deserves to be there. For a little bit of backstory that nobody asked for, the Disney Castle was my first ever giant direct-to-consumer Lego set, and also one of my largest Lego purchases in like, what, 10 years? Not quite 10 years, maybe like 8, 7, no, not even that. Anyway, it was a massive purchase and massively daunting purchase given that it was 500 Australian dollars. However, I needed a pick-me-up, and it was a set that I had wanted for so long that I just gave in and ended up buying it, and then we're now here. It's one of those like butterfly effect moments, I feel like, and is an absolutely gorgeous set. I loved every single second of this build. It makes me so happy. I love looking at it on display. I love how accurate it is. It's a Disney set as well, so like that adds a whole nother level to like my love and enjoyment of this set. I love the references. I love how much I've been able to just add to it using a variety of little Disney pieces and minifigures and such. And I'm so grateful that the set exists. I love it so much. I don't want to knock over all of the dwarves, but an unexpected gathering is another one on this list. Now, just like the Gunship, I went and parted this out, so I don't have like the complete set, but the build and model itself is complete and is another one that I absolutely adore. It is such a really cute and perfect size for bag end. I mean, ideally, yeah, you could have a massive version complete with like tons of hill, but I feel like that this was a very, very reasonable playset size and included so much in such a small package that you didn't really need a giant version, and those are really my favorite Lego sets. You don't have to have a giant version like the Disney Castle, which is gorgeous, but these smaller playsets, honestly, I think are more impressive overall. They're also easier to collect, but I just love bag end. I love the fact that you can take the roof off. I love the fact that the dwarfs can sit down. I also love that it was made as a Hobbit set, but also references and like is perfect for Lord of the Rings. Very mild thing, but you know, it makes me happy. And number 2 is my biggest white whale set that I was able to get and ended up building for 50,000 subscribers on YouTube, and that is the original Diagon Alley. This set lived up to every single expectation I had, which is a very, very, very big feat considering I had been desiring and after this set for 12 years. For it to meet the unrealistic expectations that I had set on this Lego set was incredible. I don't know how it did it. This set is perfect to me. It is the best Harry Potter set that has ever been made to ever exist. Yes, maybe I said it differently in a different Harry Potter list, but when I really think about it, the size and scale are a massive factor here. Every other like really great Harry Potter set has been giant and super expensive, but this one was, I mean, still expensive, but a lot more reasonable than those ones. And unlike the current version of Diagon Alley on sale, it included one of the most essential buildings that you needed. Honestly, the only thing that would have made it better if they had Weasley's Wizard Wheezes as well, so that you could have the 4 main buildings from Nocturne Alley and Diagon Alley. But you know, I'll take my losses and take that set for what it is, because it is magnificent. I love it. And lastly is my number 1 retired set, which honestly kind of got to the level of Diagon Alley, but not quite as much, just because I guess it wasn't Harry Potter. But that is my beloved Pizza Planet truck. I, again, really wanted this set for like 12, 13 years, but it just got super expensive. I feel like it was gonna be like my favorite and crown jewel item for Lego Toy Story, and I just love those movies so much. And this is such an iconic just Pixar element in general. I knew I had to have it. Yes, this isn't minifigure scale. Yes, the toys are incredibly oversized in it, but I love the scale of this. I want a giant one, yes I do, but again, perfectly small sized set, not super expensive, amazing character selection, fun play features. It's a little bulky, it's not perfect, but I love it. And it came out in 2010, so I will give it some slack. But this set is just one of my like favorite things in my collection that I will never, ever get rid of. I love it. It makes me so happy. It takes me back to my childhood, and it is just a very sweet and wholesome set for me. So that is my entire list, and luckily I have wrapped it up when I did, because my room has become a sauna, and I am also trying to break in some shoes to wear to my cousin's wedding, which are high heels, so my feet kind of hurt. But you know what? It's all in the name of family and love for Lego, so it's okay. And again, this is a very biased list. This is my favorite retired sets to ever exist, so it is based on my interests, the things I love, the things I grew up with. So if you disagree with anything I said, let me know in the comments down below, and let me know your favorite retired sets to ever exist. But otherwise, if you guys enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, consider subscribing to my channel down below, and be sure to check me out on Twitch as well for a ton of other ranking and tier lists and things like that. And until next time guys, I'll see you later.